This is Zain Jan, CEO of Better Earth, and I'm here with Mikey Cavaleri, President of Sales over at Better Earth, absolute legend, absolute killer, and someone I've known for years now. I believe we're going on 6 years of working together. We've probably known each other for almost a decade now, and we've had an unbelievable relationship, started as a friendship and then turned into a business relationship. So, Mikey, welcome today, and very, very excited to have a great conversation with you about how we got into Better Earth, the history of Better Earth and why we started it, and then diving in a little bit into solar sales and why solar sales is so crucial, why it's so important, and why it's the best time to be in solar today. So welcome, Mikey.
100%, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man. So I'm going to start out with, tell me how you first heard about solar. Obviously, it was through me, but tell me how you first heard about it and like what you thought about solar when you first heard about it.
Yeah, so I first heard about it from you, and like most people, I was in college, not really focused on purpose, a little bit lost. I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life, and I followed you on Instagram, and obviously we're buddies, and I saw what you were doing, and it piqued my interest, and you told me about solar and how you were making 6 figures a year while you were still going to college, and just where the industry was going. And then you obviously dropped that famous quote you always like to drop, Warren Buffett,
Yep.
The largest transfer of wealth is going to be the deregulation of energy. And so it piqued my interest, and I started researching solar, hearing more about it, and that's when I really got like accustomed to the idea that sales as an actual art of industry to go into and a real profession. And you introduced me like Grant Cardone, told me to watch a couple of these guys, so I started just looking more and more into it. And I just saw like, hey, this is a vehicle that I could make a lot of money and have a lot of growth in. And in college, partying, doing the wrong thing, so I really wanted a change in my life. I think like a lot of people.
Yeah, no, for sure. And was it like when you first heard about solar? Obviously, it might have sounded good, but then you had the sales side, and specifically the door-to-door sales side.
Yeah.
What did you think when you first heard about that? And, just being honest, like, did it scare you? Was it something that sounded like something you maybe didn't want to do or sounded, kind of scary?
Yeah, I think at the time I was mostly scared about just wasting my potential. I had a knee surgery at the time, so I was spending a lot of time in bed. You have a lot of time to reflect, and I was like, man, I'm in college. I'm really wasting my potential. Like, I got to do something to be successful. I was lucky when I was younger to get out of my comfort zone and do a little child acting that made me feel really uncomfortable. And so when I heard about sales...
Grown-ups, if you haven't checked it out.
Yeah.
Young Adam Sandler as a kid.
So, yeah, 100%. So, yeah, like... the same feeling I got when you told me about that is the same feeling I got when I did that movie. So I was like, okay, I know that this is good for me, and I know that there's a lot of reward to this. So I heard like door-to-door, showing up to strangers' doorsteps, and first feeling was like, dude, this is crazy. There's no way I'm doing this. And then I started to look more and more into it, see your success, study Grant Cardone, Tony Robbins, all the gurus, and started to get motivated and say, hey, everybody that I've listened to said that if you can master sales, you can master communication, you can master business and life. And then also I saw an article that most self-made billionaires had done door-to-door sales. I was like, obviously there's a ton of value to this. And, they obviously got over that fear, and that's why they are where they are today.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think when I first got into door-to-door sales, like, I was a little bit embarrassed of it. I was like, is this something I want to do for the rest of my life? Is this something I want to be a part of? Because I didn't really know what door-to-door was. I had no really, good previous conception of it. I thought door-to-door people didn't make any money. And then when I got into the solar industry, I was like, holy crap, there's guys here making hundreds of thousands of dollars and even millions of dollars knocking door to door. And then I read that same article you did, which, kind of showed the stats of, I think it's like 70 or 80% of billionaires have gone door to door at some point in their life or cold called at some point in their life. And that's when I realized, wow, this is a crazy skill set. I remember when I first joined, it gave me the, motivation to really become a master communicator, really understand my product, but also be extremely uncomfortable. And what that taught me was, damn, like if I'm uncomfortable, as long as I can learn how to communicate, put myself in uncomfortable situations, I can always prove myself right and I can maximize my potential. And I remember after my first few sales in solar, I was like, holy crap, every time I knock a door, I feel good.
Yeah.
I feel really good. And every time I get a sale, I get a win. And it reminded me of sports. It reminded me of like, dude, when you make a goal or when you shoot a shot and it goes in, it's like you get that little, that little boost.
Yep.
I got that same exact boost when I closed a customer. And it was like, I could do this forever because every time I close a deal or knock a door, it increases my energy level and I actually get better confidence. And that turned me into a good public speaker, turned me into a good business person. And today it's like, if I'm negotiating deals or I'm working something in the business or I'm even just trying to motivate and train someone, I've been through the most uncomfortable times in door-to-door that it makes everything else seem easier. So I love that you said that, man. So fast forward, you got into solar with me. We were out in California working at a company. We had actually launched a company. We had worked with some people to launch a company, built that up to be pretty successful. And then a little over 2 years ago, we decided to embark on a mission and start Better Earth. And Better Earth's goal is obviously crazy. We are trying to go out there. We're trying to help tons of people. And we're trying to create the best trifecta that we possibly can. And what I mean by trifecta is we're trying to make it the best place for reps to sell, the best experience, the best pay, the best commission, the best products, the best marketing, the best recruitment, the best promotion, just overall the best brand. Then from a customer perspective, we're trying to give them the best deal, best warranties, packages, and everything. And then from an environmental perspective, we're trying to be a true renewable energy company where we practice what we preach. So we're really kind of doing it all at once. So tell me a little bit about like what you've seen with other solar companies, how they currently operate, what they're like, and what you see as the difference with Better Earth.
Yeah. I think like when we first started, obviously a lot of you guys came from Solar City, so you had that perspective of working at literally the largest, nobody's even done what they've done still to this day.
Correct.
So the largest installer at the time to then going to a startup. So you saw what it was like on a massive scale, and then you saw what it was from the beginning. So I definitely learned a lot from you guys, and I heard all like the kind of horror stories of what happened and, all the changes we wanted to make. So when we started Better Earth, we had been in the industry at this point for me almost 4 years. And we saw all those issues where they were, whether it was on the sales rep side, on the customer side, and we just realized if we can master this experience, sales and customer experience, we will be the best company in the industry. So what I've seen, you have small companies, you have medium companies, you have large companies, and what I haven't seen is a company scale to the magnitude that we want to and be able to provide that experience. So I think a lot of companies can scale, whether it's through marketing, capital, money, being able to grow, but they haven't done it and provided that overall 5-star customer experience or that sales rep experience. And so us being hyper-focused on that, I think, puts us light years ahead of a lot of the competition, where if you have a small local guy and he's got maybe a couple crews, which is a lot of companies, right? They're able to provide more of that one-on-one attention, but they just don't have systems and they don't have leadership and the ability to scale. So I think, when I look at the industry as a whole, one, it's how can you scale? And two, how can you scale and actually maintain that quality and that workmanship and, which is going to lead to our 5-star brand, which is something we're super focused on. We haven't seen anybody do that really either. Like, you think electric cars, you think Tesla, right? You think sports sometimes, sportswear, usually you think Nike. Maybe Adidas is in there too. You think solar, it doesn't really ring a bell for anybody right now. So we see a huge opportunity for us to become that brand in the space.
Yep, exactly. No, I 100% agree with you. And I think one of the biggest things in solar is what are the core values of a company and the company's leadership. And I think one of the things you do really well and the rest of the leadership at the company does really well is we understand that our only customer is not, the person actually getting the solar, but our sales team is our customer. Our employees are our customer. And every single day we have to earn their business and we have to work harder and harder. And we are never the best. Every single day we got to get better. We got to get better. We got to improve. And when you have that type of relentless mindset where you always want to get better and it's never perfect, and you can, even if you can increase a timeline by half a day, that's the biggest deal to us. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what's so important at Better Earth, because when you're a sales rep, you can go out there and work at a lot of different companies. You're going to have companies that, charge you really high and, in terms of you get really low commission. Then you have companies that, are kind of average. And then you have companies that are going to pay you really well. But that's not what the product in solar is. You can get paid really well, but if your jobs aren't handled properly, one, you're not going to get referrals. Two, your customers aren't going to go with you long term. And then three, you're probably not going to get your jobs installed. They won't realize. So with Better Earth, I think what we've done that's so well is we realize every single piece of the puzzle is extremely important. We have to pay our sales reps amazingly. We have to have amazing processes and systems so that jobs get submitted properly, and we have to have a good brand. And as long as we're focused on that, that's what's important. And I think with Better Earth, what separates us from everyone is we actually acknowledge that. We know that sales reps are customers. 100%. We know that employees are customers, and we know that customers are customers. And as long as we continue to provide that experience, it's extremely important. So my question to you is, like, for a sales rep that's out there that's either selling solar or they're in some other industry doing sales and they're trying to get into solar, what should they look out for when joining a solar company to sell with? And then what separates Better Earth? Like, if they were to see Better Earth and then let's say they were to see another big installer or some, another sales org, what makes Better Earth so special?
Yeah, 100%. So like just looking at the industry as a whole, right? Like whether you're in any other type of sales, medical sales, insurance sales, car sales, like we have so many people that come to our company that come to the industry that are really successful salespeople. and they just didn't realize how big this opportunity is in solar, how lucrative it is, and then how fast growing and how adaptive it is. And so 2 is like the vehicle, right? Like, solar's the right industry. What's the vehicle? What's the actual platform that the company's giving you to succeed? And then 3 is the environment. Like, who are you surrounding yourself with? Who are the leaders in that company? Who are the sales leaders in that company? Who are the people you're going to be surrounding yourself with every day? Because you become a product of your environment, whether it's the information you're learning or the people you're surrounding yourself with. So what I would say is that, you'll see a lot of smaller companies and then a larger, bigger companies. I think where we're at right now is we're right in the middle. But the number one things we focused on is not just compensation. Compensation's there, but it's a platform within the compensation that's super entrepreneurial. And we've seen that so much in solar. We've seen it go from you have a few big companies to now there's all these mini companies and there's a lot of different sales teams. And what people are longing for is like, how do I actually have a platform that's entrepreneurial for me, where I don't have to wait for politics. I don't have to wait 3-4 years to go up this corporate sales ladder where maybe one day I'll get a raise and be a regional manager. And we saw that not working, and that making people unhappy and leaving solar because they didn't see that upward trajectory. So what we've done is we've created a platform where you get to promote yourself. Literally, we are results driven. If you come in, like we have, our VP of sales is young, one of the younger salespeople in our company. He came in 1 year and outranked everybody in our company and became the top earner because we gave him a platform in order to do that. So I'd say 1, it's having the right people around you, the right leadership. 2, having the right training, the right tools. We do trainings. I know you hop on trainings with the guys all the time. Like, you're not going to find a CEO of an installer that's going to be able to train you on sales, on mindset, on business, willing to put that time, energy, and effort. So I think 1's compensation, 2 is the platform that we've given, 3 is the leadership, and then 4 is just that training, and then 5 is the culture, the environment that they get to surround themselves with. If you have all those things working in your favor, you have no choice but to be successful.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's what really separates Better Earth. When I look at solar, there's so many people that are doing it. I mean, there's over 50,000 solar companies that are out there in the
Crazy.
U.S. alone.
Yeah.
So there's so many different people attempting to do it, but a lot of people don't have that, don't really necessarily have all the pieces. And I think why we're so lucky is because we have people that are experts at the operations side. They've done thousands of installs and they know exactly how that works. We have people that are experts at the tech side and they're great at that. We have people that are experts at marketing and recruiting. And we have people that are amazing at sales. And we really put all of those pieces together. You kind of create the perfect formula. So one of the biggest things that I think everyone always wants to know, and this is for people that are in Better Earth, selling at Better Earth, or even at another company and just getting into the solar industry, is what separates a successful sales rep from an unsuccessful one. Meaning someone that comes in, who crushes it, who makes it happen, who gets those deals. Let's take Chance, for example, our VP. How did he get to where he is, and what are the traits of a successful person in solar, and like what do they have to do in their first maybe 90 days, 120 days, first year?
Yeah. I'd say the first 2 that I've seen is 1 is self-belief. Have self-belief in yourself. Know that, hey, you can go out there and achieve your goals and use this as a platform to succeed. Yep. Second is mindset, attitude. Like, it's so important. So many people, myself included, I was like, man, I don't know everything about sales. I don't know everything about the product. But if you have a lot of self-belief and a lot of self-confidence, you have a good mindset, you're going to go out there and you're going to put that work in. So the third is the work ethic, right? Like, he's worked a ridiculous amount of hours, and anybody that I've seen succeed in solar and stay has came in day 1 and said, okay, I don't know how long I'm going to be in this industry, but I'm committing to being great at this. And when you have that commitment from the beginning, your work ethic comes and it follows. So I'd say, like, have that self-belief, have that confidence, have that mindset, that attitude, and then the work ethic, and then everything else comes. As long as you have that all in a row, like, you're going to have the right habits. You're going to be disciplined. You're going to do the right things on a daily basis. You're going to put yourself in a position to succeed. So a lot of it is not solar or sales specific. A lot of it is just starting with up here. And I think that's the biggest thing that holds people back too, is like that self-doubt, that, comparing yourself to others versus, hey, I'm hyper-focused on my goals and I'm going to come in with the right mindset, the right attitude, and the right work ethic, control the controllables. Because if you're behind a door and I knock on your door, or I get sent to an appointment and you're the house, I have no idea what's going to happen. I don't know what to expect. But what I can control is I can control my mindset, I can control how hard I work, and then 3, I can control my skills and what I say in the deal. And I say that comes last, honestly.
Yeah, and I can't tell you how many times, I know you've seen this and I've seen this, I can't tell you how many times you have someone that comes in, you think they're going to do good. They have so much talent, they're saying all the right things. Day 1, they show up, they look good, they're saying the right things, they're probably the fastest to get the pitch, and you really believe in that person. And I can't tell you how many times I've seen that same person possess all the qualities except that consistency and that work ethic, and they end up giving up or failing in 3 months or 6 months.
I miss coachable on that. Those people sometimes aren't coachable as well.
Exactly, because they think they know it all, and they're not willing to learn. And then on the flip side, you have the people that come in and you're like, dude, I don't know if this dude's going to cut it.
Yeah.
You know, it kind of doesn't look good. Like, he's not really pitching good. He's not really catching on to it. But that person's consistent and persistent. And I think the unique thing in the solar industry and success and sales in general is how important consistency and persistency are. Like, if you're persistent and you're consistent, that's probably 80 to 85% of it. Because talent, you know, you can learn the skill set. You're going to find the product. You're going to find the company. You're going to find the vehicle. All of that will come. But you can't really always teach that hard work ethic. You can't always teach someone to be persistent. And it's crazy to me because some of the salespeople that I met when they first started, I wouldn't put my money on them. I didn't know if they were going to succeed. And then as they just kept putting in the hours, they showed up every day. They might have filled month 1, month 2, month 3, and month 4. But they kept showing up and they had that positive attitude. And because they had that positive attitude and they kept showing up, eventually they figured it out. And when you have someone that then figures out the skill set and you pair that with the hard work ethic, you pair that with the dedication and showing up every single day, that's a lethal weapon. That's someone that becomes good. And some of the best people that I've met in the industry are those. And then, you know, I've met some people that started out good and they stayed good and they had that consistency and that persistence. But more so, I always see people that come into the industry and they might not possess all the skill sets or the qualities of an amazing salesperson in solar or a salesperson in general, but they keep at it. Yeah. And I think if anyone's watching this and you're like, what's that one thing I can work on? It's showing up every single day.
100%.
Show up every single day and the rest, you'll figure it out. Like, the skill set might take a little bit. Your door pitch might take a little bit. That confidence might even take a little bit. But the only way all of those things are going to improve is if you show up every single day. And I think that's a huge testament of what we've kind of done with Better Earth. From the beginning of the company and even just from the beginning of us being in the industry, we've been told no. We've been told we can't do it. We've had the door shut on us hundreds of times. You know, I remember one time we had a huge installer tell us, like, there's no way you'll be an installer. You're always going to be small. You're going to go out of business right away. Yeah. Here we are competing with them now. And it's nuts because it was just persistence. It was just showing up every day. We weren't perfect. We didn't have some amazing technology or you know, we didn't have some crazy capital or some investor or really anything special.
Bootstrap, baby.
Yeah, bootstrapped completely. But we showed up every single day and we had problems. We had internal stuff going on where, you know, it wasn't always perfect and there was problems and there was drama, but we kept showing up and we never give up, never give up, never give up. And because we kept that, here we are.
Yeah, and I think, you know, we talked about this in the last podcast, but it was like, you know, I think something that doesn't really happen when companies start is like we all got in a room together. We were like, hey, here's all your strengths, weaknesses. Like, we all laid it out there, like, transparent from the jump communication. Like, we have a problem, like, we're going to talk about it. You know, I think that's so valuable of getting aligned on that. Like, hey, we're not going to agree with everything, but we're going to communicate it and we're going to solve the problem. And then, two, aligning on the vision, right? I think a lot of people get into business, they don't really understand people's core values or where they're going, right? Like, short term, you might want to go to this state. Somebody else might think this state's a good idea. There might could be a disagreement. But long term, like, where are we going as a vehicle? If your business partners and the people working in the organization aren't aligned on that, like, you're only going to go so far. It's you know, pull and push. But one thing you said, and I have like a cool little story, is one person in our company, their 15th month, they had sold like 28 deals or something. And then in 1 month, they sold 27.
Wow.
They had a breakthrough month. So it was like there was literally almost a year and a half. They sold more in 1 month than they sold in a year and a half. Like, that was just a crazy story of persistence. Like, I love that story so much because I think so many people give up way too early in solar because they see somebody come out the gates hot and they're like, oh, well, this isn't for me, you know? So that was a cool little story that, you know, shout out to person Connor if he's watching this. So
let's go, Connor.
Good job for you, man. Yeah.
No, I think that's so important because it's not easy all the time, and what we do is hard. And, you know, sometimes we might self-talk ourselves into thinking it's easy, but it's hard. And when you're honest about it, it is hard. But when you can show up every single day, you can have those tough conversations with yourself and with those around you. You can figure out what you're weak at, and those around you are willing to tell you what you're weak at and hold you accountable to get better every single day. You will make it. That's why when I see someone in Better Earth, I'm not necessarily looking at how good are they out the gate. I'm not looking at, you know, what their stats are right out the gate. That's important. But what I'm more so looking at is, are they actually showing up? Do they have a good attitude? And do they not give up? And I would much rather 10 times out of 10 bet on that person than bet on the person that came in, did really good for their first month, and then kind of coasted because they thought they were really good. Yep. I would much rather bet on that first person because that first person actually shows what they have to take long term. And I think it really relates to who we are as a company. Like, there's a lot of companies that will go out there. They'll try to undercut the competition by giving some crazy low, price to their customer. Or they'll try to undercut by trying to give reps like a unsustainable baseline or giving dealers an unsustainable baseline. And again, on the outset, it looks like they're actually caring and they're doing good. But what people don't understand is you can't sustainably build a business. You can't show up every single day. That business will soon have problems. Things will happen. And they're going to have to go back and they're going to have to figure something out. And that's why I love Better Earth, because we literally do the best that we possibly can while still making sure that we're around in the long haul and we can maintain and service our customers, our sales reps, and have the best product overall. And I think that's what really separates Better Earth. So the next thing I kind of want to go into is who we are at Better Earth and how we handle jobs. So there's a lot of people in the industry that might be watching this, or sales reps, and they might be curious, like, Better Earth, how do you think about, a customer when it's submitted? When I submit a deal with Better Earth, why should I submit it with Better Earth? Why is Better Earth going to take care of that customer better than another company? So what have you seen from our ops team? You've been on a lot of the operations calls. You've been on a lot of the technical calls. What do you see from our team and what our attitude is towards handling those projects and handling a rep's deals?
Yeah, well, we have the new motto, "Every day matters," that you talked about earlier. And it's true, right? Like, focusing on every single department taking ownership and responsibility for how can you literally cut a day off of the timeline to give that customer a better experience and, over deliver. But what I've seen, and I think it's so cool that we have it, in big internal sales team, that's, the number one dealer, is we've been able to provide the feedback on the ground level. I think for a lot of people, they don't have a good relationship. And even when we bring on sales partners, it's like, hey, we're a growth partner. Like, we want your feedback. Give us your feedback. What do we need to improve on? And so we were able to take all the feedback that we got from sales reps, from customers, really hyper-focused on that and be able to make all the improvements. So when we take a job, when a customer comes in, it's like, hey, how do we make sure we have a 60-day install timeline guarantee in the areas we work in, with all the right, unless there's MPUs and all these crazy things. And the reason we do that is because, we want to put our money where our mouth is, and, we want to push the team and motivate the team to say, hey, this is what the customer's expecting, and this is what's important to them. Let's get this job installed fast. So I think we're just hyper-focused on that, not only from a system standpoint and how can we make the systems and processes better, but how do we get every employee from every department to seriously care. It's one customer that comes through, that customer is VIP. Every single customer that comes through the door, nobody's more important than another, I know we're going to start doing celebrity solar and all this fun stuff. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's Joe from down the road or it's going to be some big-time celebrity. We're not going to give anybody preferential treatment over their job. So it's every customer that comes with the door of a company is a Better Earth customer. They represent our brand. They can go online, write a review about us, rave about us, or not rave about us. And so our number one focus is how do we turn every single customer into a customer that not only is going to give us reviews, but it's going to give us referrals and become an ambassador. I think if your customers can become your ambassadors, your business will grow exponentially. And a lot of people miss that.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think in the solar industry, it's so easy to miss because a lot of companies, once a deal gets submitted, they kind of just forget about it and they think it's over. But when a deal gets submitted, that's really when the deal starts.
Yep.
And that's where a lot of companies fail. It's that deal gets submitted and they're not putting the right attention and focus to getting that deal to install. And I know with Better Earth, that's what separates us. That's what makes us so different, is literally as soon as a job comes in, it's like a hot potato. We're jumping on it, and we're just like, dude, we need to get this thing out. We need to get this thing to the finish line as fast as we possibly can. And we really care about that. And all of that stems from, a lot of the executive team and a lot of us, started this company just knowing if you're a sales rep and you submit a deal, how important it is and how crucial it is and how every minute literally matters. It's like sitting in a home with the customer and having to call someone for an answer. Yep. And you're waiting there. And I'm sure if you're a sales rep, you've been in this, situation before, and it can sometimes be the most awkward thing because you're trying to please the customer, trying to make them understand, but you're also trying to get them a solution, and you're waiting for someone on the other side of the line.
How much rapport can you build?
Yeah, how much rapport can you build? And you're going out, and it can get awkward sometimes, and it's uncomfortable. So what we want to do for our salespeople is create the least amount of those uncomfortable kind of awkward environments that are reliant on us. We want to give you the smooth, the seamless transition from you submitting a deal all the way to install and handle that for you. And instead of you feeling like, oh, this is a company where I have to constantly call in and follow up on my deals and, kind of always be on the defensive, we want to be offensive. We want to make sure that we know more about your job than you know about your job. We want to make sure that your customer feels like they're being over communicated with, because we know if we can do that, we truly have the best experience that is out there, not only in solar, but in sales in general. And that's what's so important to us. So I love that. Kind of last words, Mikey. If you're a sales rep at Better Earth and this is your first day, or you're someone that's thinking about contemplating, kind of working with Better Earth, what would you say to them?
Yeah, I would say we will give you all the tools, energy, resources that you need to be successful. It's ultimately up to you to make the decision that you're going to put in the work and you're going to have all those intangibles that we talked about that's required to succeed. But like, you will get everything you need. And I know for myself, like when you told me about solar, like I was scared, I was nervous, I wasn't sure if this is the right thing. And I made that decision almost 6 years ago, and it was literally the best decision I ever made. And it's completely changed my life. It's transformed my life, who I am. Like a lot of the anxiety, the fear, a lot of the things that burned in me in my life, I've been able to handle that because solar is such a cool industry and it's so amazing to sell it. It's more so like a personal development industry where you're making a lot of money to grow as an individual and to learn a lot. And the one thing I'd say that we don't touch on a lot of these is like, we seem intense about, the business, but we have a freaking blast with what we're doing. Like, it's fun. We're making jokes. We're having fun every single day. Like, we all get along, and this is something that we love to do. So it's like, when you're around a team, not only if you're developing, you're making a lot of money, you're growing as an individual, but like, you're going to have a lot of fun. I mean, we take our team on ridiculous trips. We spend a ridiculous amount of money on them because all we think about is, hey, if this is us, what would we want? And we get to create that sales culture and sales competitions and incentives and all that based off around, what is some crazy things that like most kids wouldn't even think about having, Yeah. We bought somebody a Lamborghini. We're flying people to, Turks and Caicos, Ibiza, all-inclusive resorts, and we have 4 guys going to Costa Rica spending all this money on these trips of things that they wouldn't even spend on themselves. So just how not only can we give them an amazing experience inside work, but also outside of work and really create that family environment. So if you're thinking about it, don't think about it, just do it.
Yeah, no, 100%. I'd agree with that. Like, when it comes to working with us as a company, and it comes to any type of experience, we really look at it like a blank checkbook. Like, if we can curate and create the best experience possible, doesn't matter how much it costs, because we know the long-term residual effect. We're not just looking for our ROI today, we're looking for the long-term ROI, which sometimes can take time to come to fruition. But for example, you brought up, we send people on trips, we buy someone a Lamborghini, etc. That sounds cool and it sounds flashy. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's always profitable for us day one, but we know that's what's gonna win us over, maybe some other company. That's what's going to make them work harder. That's what's going to make them go in the deal with their customer and be extra confident in the company that they're working with. And that's what we provide at Better Earth. It's that amazing, kind of experience start to finish. Whether you're a sales rep or you're a customer, we're going to make sure that experience is good. We're not going to be cheap about it. We're going to spend as much as we can. And the next thing I wanted to touch on, what you said was, having fun. So at Better Earth, and this is going to sound kind of contrary to popular belief, but we don't believe in work-life balance because we look at it and it's like all life. Like, work is life is life, and it's all intertwined, because what we do here is like it's a family, and when we go home, we're thinking about work because we want to help more people. When we're going out, we're having fun with our team. We're probably around the people that are at the company because it truly is a family, and we believe like you don't have to be upset to go up to work, or you don't have to be depressed at work. You don't have to feel like you're stuck. No, if you have a job that you actually love, that pays you properly, gives you the right recognition and attention, and you're a part of a culture of people that helps grow you, you're always having fun no matter what the case is. So I actually believe not having work-life balance is healthier for a human being than having work-life balance, because work-life balance just means that you have to separate
not enjoying your work enough.
You're not enjoying your work. It's not life. But when you put it together, it's like, dude, you can go on trips, you can have fun, you can do whatever it is you want, but it doesn't mean that you have to shut off work, because work is so amazing. It's what gives you your purpose and that mission. And I truly believe everyone enters this world, and what decides whether they're going to live longer or not is if they have a mission. And if they have a mission, they're probably going to live longer, live a more fulfilled, happier life because they're going after something. Whereas you meet someone that's maybe bored and they don't have a mission, that person's going to be depressed, they're going to be negative, and they're not going to know what to do. And that's usually the person that's like, oh, I need to get off of work. Oh, what time do I get off of work? What time does it hit 5 o'clock? I need to take a vacation. I need a break. I need a breather. You hear people always say this in society, but that's bullshit, man. Like, What we need to do is we need to be a part of something that's actually a bigger mission. I think that's what we created at Better Earth.
100%.
So with that being said, Mikey, thank you for hopping on today. This is Zain Jan, CEO of Better Earth, Mikey, president of Better Earth, and we are excited to see you more. We're going to be coming out with tons of content, giving you guys tons of value, and thank you for being a part of this amazing journey with us.
Better Earth to the moon, baby.
Let's go.